Oh, look at that. Hey, we're live, boys in America. Welcome to the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin, presented by Offensively Creative and Dinsmore Steel. I'm America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan. You're never going to believe this. I own Offensively Creative. That's Rod. He's the PEO god, and he owns Dinsmore Steel. And then we have Robin Valdez. He's the thriller from Manila. Not really from. We'll get to that at some point, I'm sure. Where are you from, Robin?
I'm from Manila.
Okay, let's just go with Manila. And we have, ladies and gentlemen, a very special guest today, Alan Verlander. He's the CEO and founder of Airstream Ventures. Welcome to the show, Alan.
Yeah. Hey, it's great to join you guys. This is going to be an exciting hour.
Well, it should be, unless we fuck it up, which we may. We often do. You should have seen Monday. It was a disaster.
I'll go back and watch.
Was a live reading. Monday was a live
favor.
Reading from a book.
We've burned it from the internet. It's never. It's on. All right. So I'm not sure if you've seen the show, but generally speaking, I just said this in the green room. I'm going to say it again. We talk about the news for the first half hour, our opinions on it, because America demands such things. But before we do that, I don't know if you know this. Every day in the United States is some national day, some reason to celebrate, something to get excited about. It was slim pickings yet again today, but let's discuss. Today it's National Miniature Golf Day.
That's not too
I know
bad.
this says the second Saturday in May, but that's not true. Don't worry, I cross-checked these facts. Do you guys have any opinions on miniature golf? Because I think it's delightful. I never want to do it again, but we take miniature golf in this country very seriously.
We do. We really do.
You ever miniature golf, Alan?
Yeah, I mean it's back in the day when the true putt was around. I mean it's big, and then you see Top Golf, which is obviously a phenomenon all across the country, has put in true miniature golf courses at a lot of their venues. So it's a lot of fun. Hey, you can have a cold beverage.
Right.
You can putt a little bit.
You can get drunk and go to the Indoor Kiss miniature golf site. Did you know this is a thing? Did you know Kiss is sponsoring miniature golf these days?
Kiss the band?
Kiss the band. Yeah, that's Gene Simmons's boot. And I think that's Ace Frehley's eye makeup. Or I don't know. I hate Kiss.
There's got to be a putting through the tongue hole, right?
There must be a tongue somewhere. If there's not, it's criminal.
You know what I see here, Eric, don't you?
What's that?
A lot of wasted land for pickleball. What is this crap? Get it out of here.
There we are again. Hey, there's a place for miniature golf. It's actually quite nice. It's a couples activity.
It's a date. It's a good date because it's not strenuous. You're not going to sweat. The competition's relatively low. And like Alan said, you can drink. So it's everything that you kind of want.
Like
I mean, exactly pickleball. This is a miniature golf thing that's in a funeral home. So that's fun. You see grandma and you play a few things. But I'm just like, this is a Toy Story themed miniature golf course. I mean, that's something, isn't it?
I guess they're not putting any more clowns on miniature golf courses anymore, huh?
No, they were scaring the shit out of the children. You can't do clowns.
I guess Happy Gilmore took care of that.
Oh my! Happy Gilmore, by the way, is a national treasure. It's it's no Billy Madison, but it's very close. It's
fun. It's one of those that if it comes on, you're gonna at least watch 15 minutes of it. Not the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
oh, the alligator.
I feel like Sandler made Big Daddy and then fell off of a cliff.
I agree with you.
Came back, hit us again with Uncut Gems, and then it's all downhill again.
Big Daddy was the beginning of the end because he came out of the gates hot with Billy Madison, and then it was Happy Gilmore, and then even some of the marriage movie with Drew Barrymore and
that was 50 First Dates. That was a good one.
Yeah, the Drew Barrymore movies were good, but I think Big Daddy and then the one with the devil, Little Nicky was terrible. I don't know,
terrible, horrendous.
But it's worth
he's enjoying his money though. I think he's doing A-okay, and if it were like me, I'd be like, you know what, maybe peace out.
No, he dresses like a slob. He's enjoying his $500 million. He just no sexual scandals, no drugs. He just hangs out and has a good time. He's a pretty good celebrity.
A lot to be said for that.
No, I think so. He's like a slightly less successful Tom Hanks. He's another guy that never gets in trouble.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm part of a Facebook group that's called People That Look Like Adam Sandler but Aren't Adam Sandler. It's gold. there are thousands of posts of people that look exactly like Adam Sandler.
Oh, but you don't look like Adam Sandler.
No.
Okay, you just follow the page. For a minute there, I was like,
I was like, he doesn't look like him.
I'll bring it up tomorrow.
I had no idea there was the internet's a wild place. No, I'm very excited about this. I wish you would. Okay. I have a lot of questions for Alan, so let's get through the news. Robin, what do we have first?
So one thing that always fascinates me about America is you only need to go to one place to do your groceries, get your pharmaceuticals, shop for clothes, buy an automatic rifle, and the latest edition, Walmart Pet Services.
Walmart Pet Services.
They want a piece of the cake. That's the $140 billion consumers spent on pets in America last year.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an on-duty vet as well as pet groomers at Walmart, but I just won't trust Walmart with my dog.
Well, that's interesting that you say that. So originally my whole bit here was going to be like, there's no Walmarts in the Philippines. Let me teach you about them. But do you know how many Walmarts in the Philippines? 1,130.
What?
According to the internet,
Really?
1,130 Walmarts in the Philippines.
I've never seen a single one. I think that's.
Yeah. I was going to educate you. Robin, can you believe you can buy a gun at Walmart? But you already know this because you have 1,130.
I do not. I've never seen one. I think that's fake news.
Yeah. Well, here it is. Yeah. So I think my big takeaway here was $136 billion Americans spend on their pets every year.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that sound slightly?
That sounds like I spent a little more than that, but yeah, that sounds right. I had a situation similar to this. I used to take I'd say a couple of really quick stories that are funny. So I have Hefe, the beautiful, handsome devil boy known as a husky.
Yep.
And I took him one time to our friends over at Banfield. And I was in Tulum, Mexico, and they called and said, he is acting out in playtime. I said, hold on a second. I'm going to charter a jet. I'll be there. Could be there in 2-3 days. They said, what do you mean? I said, I'm in Mexico. Figure it out or don't bother me about it. That was the first. The second time I bring him in, right? The lady says to me, this is the veterinarian, not the pharmacist, the veterinarian. She says to me, what kind of drugs is he on? I said, well, that box there you're typing in will tell you.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, it looks like he's on flea and heart gall, that sort of stuff. And I said, great. She goes, where do you get it from? I said, I get it from Chewy. Perhaps you've heard of them. They're owned by PetSmart, who building you're in. She had never heard of them. Long story short, she upset me. I ended up emailing the CEO, the CFO, and the COO and got my medical records, and I moved to a different vet.
Look at you.
You know what? The drugs we were using were from China. I said, lady, everything's from China.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you something about Walmart too. They're a big partner of ours down here in Jacksonville. They're also now opening up doctors and dentists and all that in Walmarts as well. So they've had eye care, but now, I mean, heck, now you get your tooth drilled on, you go get your eyes checked, you make sure your blood's flowing, drop off little Snoopy at the vet, go get your groceries done. Yeah. Heck, it's a day, right? You get it all taken care of in one day.
Why stop there? Why don't you get some paint, pick up a nice automatic rifle? Like,
yeah, there you go. So
the thing that's weird to me though about Walmart, and I don't disagree with you, is that dentistry throws me off because every time I go in there, I ask myself, how do these people walk upright? Nobody I've ever seen at Walmart has ever been to the dentist.
We're going to get to that. Well, listen, I have some people of Walmart pictures I'm going to pull up. Before I move on from this one, you know what I love about Walmart? They post their fucking prices. So every time I go to a vet, it's either they go at the end, they look at my cat and they go, listen, it'll be $2,000 to fix him or $300 to kill him. And I go, well, what the fuck am I going to do? $2,000. Look at these prices. These are very reasonable prices. I can't see, but this is $42, $24, $9, $15. Never have I been to a vet and got anything for $15.
Eric, you're reading it wrong. This is for looking at the sign. It's $15 to read the sign.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But vet prices are outrageous.
And grooming.
Oh, the whole thing. Well,
this is why are vets still like majority of them are pretty poor.
I have no idea. The numbers don't make sense. This is like hospitals. Everything. A heart attack's $800,000, but hospitals make no money. Something's broken here. But I have the prices. It's $15 for a nail trim, $25 for rabies shots, and $97 for a physical. I mean, that's very reasonable. That's the amount I want to pay for my cat because I own cats, but I'm not like a cat person. So like $100. That's mwah. Thank God for Walmart. But to Rodney's point, I don't know if you know this. So there's a website where you can see people that look like Adam Sandler. Mm-hmm. There's also people of Walmart. I don't know if you've seen this site. Do yourself a favor if you haven't. But it's delight.
Wow. Now is that on Facebook? That's on Facebook.
No, it's a regular old. I think it's www.peopleofwalmart.com.
Okay.
But it celebrates. This guy's out in his Sunday best. This guy put his best pizza pants on to go get some, I don't know, windshield washer fluid. You got this lady with her pet goat. I guess my point is Walmart is a national treasure, is it not?
It is. It is. If you want to hear a funny stint, if you've heard Larry the Cable Guy talk about Walmart, it is hilarious.
I think we
go into Walmart after midnight. He does a whole stint on that. It'll have you crying.
Walmart is a delight.
Oh, Walmart's open after midnight.
24-hour Walmart's, 24
baby. Hours. Oh yeah.
You want to get your Shih Tzu groomed at midnight? You head on over to Walmart.
Yeah.
Hey, Robin, that's when you need to go shop.
That's right.
We need to start offering a service.
No
Here's an idea for a service at Walmart.
That's where this guy comes out.
We could do back shaving. Right?
Do you think Walmart should do dry cleaning? Because I would imagine these are dry clean only, right? You can't put these in the washing machine. It'll ruin it.
You gotta admire this guy though, because you know what? He doesn't just love pizza, he loves pizza and donuts.
And pink slippers, which is, is there anything more American than this fella right here?
And we both can agree that he obviously partakes in both.
Fascinating.
He walks the walk. He doesn't just talk the talk. This guy walks the walk.
This guy's not a bullshitter.
Not a bullshitter. Just so you know, Kohl's and Lowe's are also getting into pet games. So they don't quite have a veterinarian yet, but Kohl's and Lowe's both sell pet products. So I don't know.
Kohl's, I'm sorry, you mean Kohl's, the place where you drop off stuff for Amazon now? Is that?
That's exactly right. Yes, that's yep. And Walmart's to your point, they're going after Chewy. This is their next target because you can order pet food and have it delivered from your house from Walmart. Isn't that nice? Isn't
the problem they may have there is they have PetSmart behind them, and those guys are pretty good with the pets.
PetSmart versus
Walmart.
Petco
where the pets go, but it's something.
It's going to be like Musk versus Zuckerberg. It's a heavyweight title fight in a cage. Okay. Well, what else do we got, Robin? I think that's enough of Walmart. Right? Haven't we covered Walmart?
This next one's pretty grim, so I'm not going to punch jokes at this one. It's hard to believe that Google can be responsible for killing a man. So just to preface, this is why I always use Waze when I'm traveling in unfamiliar neighborhoods. So Google Maps will be the death of you, and for this man, it really was. So he was driving home. Ended up driving off a bridge that's been broken for 9 years. The locals have complained about it. So Google still refused to update their maps. And well, this happened. He fell into the bridge.
Yeah, so Google Maps had him drive right off this bridge, right into the water, and he died. Listen, it's horrible. As a matter of fact, the story somehow gets worse because he was driving back from a child's birthday party. His wife left with their 2 kids. He stayed behind to clean up, didn't know the roads, drove off of this bridge into the water and died. Everything about that is horrible. But I want to bring some. This was the plot to an Office episode. Though. Do you remember that? Like nobody died, but do you remember?
Here's a question: was the guy driving blindfolded?
Well, it was.
That seems like. I mean, I would have seen that. And here's the other thing too, Robin. I just want to share with you: Google Maps may suck, but Google owns Waze.
Oh, so there you go, Robin.
Oh, they do.
Who's laughing now?
Didn't know that. But
secret in the U.S. There's a few companies that own everything. Just a handful.
I used Apple Maps. I've always used Apple Maps.
Apple Maps. And so to this point, you've never run off a bridge either, right? So I think there's one for Apple Maps.
Eric and I just tell our driver, get there quickly.
Google Maps is always, as though I will say, Google Maps has led me into some dead roads before, dead ends.
This is sad because this story is very anti-GPS, but you know how people say like, oh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread? I can slice my own bread. I can't, I have zero sense of direction. So I think GPS, oh my God. Do you remember life before GPS? Like we used to have to print out directions from MapQuest. And before that, you had to read a fucking map. Oh my God.
Yeah. People are insane.
And the map that you couldn't put back together. Once you pulled it out, there was no way that you could fold it back up. You just kind of crumbled it and threw it in the back seat.
Maps were way too big. And what did you do at night? Like I wasn't driving before this, but like, so you had like a flashlight looking at of course you're going to drive off bridges. So GPS has killed one person. I'm sure maps have killed hundreds of thousands.
That's fair. There's more factors to consider. So like, why didn't they repair the bridge? It's been 9 years. Also, they're arguing that homeless people stole the barricades. That's why
that's another thing. Yes.
They drove into it.
Thank you for bringing that up. So that's a good point. So yes, so there were blockades, but they were temporary and people stole them. Like what is going on in your life when you're stealing blockades?
Oddly enough, here's the thing that baffles me though. The bridge fell down, but not the railing. Interesting. That is some serious railing.
Good
They
railing.
need to find the people that did the railing and say, okay, perhaps you can do the bridge. You passed the test, guys.
Bridges
And
freak
what would
me
the
out.
homeless people do with the sign, I wonder? So you're telling me homeless people somehow
I don't
got
know.
here, let's say swam up through the canal, grabbed the signs, and we're like, now we've made it.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we've made it.
Look at this neighborhood too. Does this suggest to you that there's a lot of like homeless vagrants around? I think it's just
No.
kids stealing,
Yeah, it's kids.
killing people.
A lot of times homeless people are kids.
That's pretty dark.
Right?
This whole story is very dark. I tried to add some levity. This was a good episode where the thing you remember that? All right, come on. This is all I got for that. Sad, Robin. Very, very, very sad. Okay. Do you have a lighter story coming up?
Well, this is kind of light, but I mean, it's on the grander scheme of things.
Right.
So I got to say that like the South Korean police have some pretty big balls for doing this. So usually when the U.S. Army sets up base somewhere, nobody fucks around with them because it's the U.S. military. So it's kind of like an unspoken rule. So the South Korean police were tipped that they were getting illegal synthetic marijuana shipped in by some of the soldiers. So they did a raid on a military base, which I mean, I'd understand if they had like a meth cook, but synthetic marijuana.
Synthetic marijuana. Yeah. So this is near and dear to my heart. One, because I lived in South Korea, and two, because this is at Camp Humphreys. My brother is stationed at Camp Humphreys right now. So my mother's one of our single viewers. Mom, could you just, if you're here, could you verify that Colin's not in prison? Because it looks like somebody got it.
Okay. Go to prison for using drugs. You're the military, for God's sakes. Fire off the M16.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Listen, look, my father's in the Army, grew up on military bases, moved 9 times in 18 years, big fan. But this is a weird line in the sand to draw for an organization that looks the other way when it comes to sexual assault and murder. Now they're like, oh, you can't smoke synthetic marijuana. That just seems, isn't that a little bizarre? Robin, by the way, they've only arrested 2 people so far, a South Korean and a Filipino. Did you know that? So you got to talk to your boys.
They found that one Filipino guy. Yeah.
They found the one. Oh, there you go. Oh, thank God. Colin's not. I mean, he texted me this morning, but I didn't know. He didn't mention either way.
Under investigation, perhaps. There's 22 under investigation.
22 people under investigation for synthetic marijuana. Why are you like? There's way better drugs to go to jail for than I assume. Listen, I've never smoked synthetic marijuana. They have actual marijuana, and it's legal here. So why synthetic? I don't know.
I'm confused on why the military would even be worried about the police. It's almost like I just don't even understand. It's like being pulled over if you're an FBI agent and the cop comes up and you're like, "Are you serious? Get out of here." You know what I mean?
You're in the military. You're allowed to kill people. You can't smoke a joint. I mean, they kill them. This is what you're doing.
Like you're making sure that grandmother doesn't do the speed limit and Brandy's pearls are safe. I'm protecting the country. Now get back to your cage.
Country. This is in Korea. They're protecting the world.
The world. Sorry, the world.
Yeah, exactly. You can't unwind at the end of the day. Look how stressful this must be. They have to wear this in the dead of summer. They're sweating their balls off, carrying heavy ass bags and guns and helmets. Let them smoke some synthetic marijuana, for Christ's sakes. It should be issued.
It's almost like they don't have anything else to focus on. Like there's not a war in Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
That we keep spending more and more money on.
There's not 36 armed conflicts in Africa. There's nothing else we could possibly be doing except for busting our own for having a joint.
You know what I want to say to the nice people of South Korea? Newsflash. The war on drugs, they've won. The drugs have won. Give up. It's over. There was never a war. You thought there was a war. They knew there wasn't one. Literally. Enough with the drugs. I almost feel like they should stop beating the drum for drugs and talk about climate change or school shootings.
Oh,
the drugs have taken over. They have won.
Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. Just walk away from this war. It's not working. Here's the other thing, though. Okay, so like the military's done for doing this, but Jesus, has not anyone seen Locked Up Abroad? Do me one favor. If you're going abroad, don't bring your drugs. It's only going to end horribly. There's no happy episode of Locked Up Abroad. There's no prisons that are full of like Kiss miniature golf or sunshine and rainbows. It's always awful. Robin, have you seen the show Locked Up Abroad?
I have not, but I've seen the insides of a Filipino prison. You do not want to be
there.
Oh
my God.
And people always think when they get there, it's going to be a Dylan's candy bar. It never is.
No, it never is.
You don't even have your own cell in the Philippines. You're just like standing with, they call it like sardines in a can.
Yeah.
So you can't even lie down. You're like sleeping, half standing.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
And that's awful on the surface, but you guys at least speak the same language, have the same culture. Imagine me, I smuggle some ecstasy over there. All of a sudden I'm in a Filipino prison. That's going to be way worse for me. But that's what happens when you bring drugs to other countries. Stop doing it. Once again, I am famously pro-drug. Just don't bring them to anything. If you have a passport and drugs, keep them separate from each other.
That's true.
I'd agree.
But Rob, you're right. Why is Washington spending money on such frivolous things, such frivolities? I'll never know.
Silliness.
It is silliness, is it not? All right, listen, we got 2 more before we get to the Allen portion of the evening, so buckle up.
Yeah. So this one, we're never going to recreate enough and capitalize off of it because precious gems takes a really long time to create. I didn't even know that pink diamonds existed, but they look really cool. And they have some nice history behind them. So there's this huge diamond deposit in Australia, and apparently it was formed because the supercontinent, the Pangaea, split up a few billion years ago. So there's some pretty cool history behind owning one of these.
I learned a lot from this. So you would think the supercontinent they were talking about was Pangaea. Evidently, it's not. It was an older supercontinent named Nuna. And again, I'm too dumb to understand any of this. Pangaea, the supercontinent we know about, is only 300 million years old. Nuna is 1.8 billion years old. So when Australia slammed into the supercontinent that is Nuna, it created these pink diamonds. Which, okay, fascinating, right? But we got big problems because now women are going to want pink diamonds, and I don't want to sound like misogyny, but it's already begun. So only 1% of all the diamonds on Earth are pink. But you know these chicks are going to want one. As a matter of fact, one already got one. Would you like to know how much this pink diamond engagement ring costs? Anyone venture to guess?
$29.99.
At Walmart on Fridays. You can go get one right now for $30.
I've heard in California they're free. You just need a hammer and a couple of helpers.
Oh, really? In California?
You just suit up and steal it.
I got bad news. The rest of the world, it's going to cost you $83 million. Robin, run the numbers. They say a diamond ring is supposed to be how many months worth of your salary? Do you know?
3.
Do you know? 3.
Is it 2? I think it's 3.
That's pretty.
Somebody
accurate,
run the numbers. The average American, how many months is it going to take to get to 83 million? Do you think?
Hey Google, how long will it take to get to $83 million on an average American salary? I'm sure she doesn't know.
I guarantee you most people are going to see the funeral home before they see that diamond.
No, but here's the problem. And again, I don't want to shit on women, but they're going to want these. There's a certain population of women who are going to want this diamond, and we just can't afford it. And it's going to be it's going to be a sad situation.
But then you're going to see these, you see these lab manufactured diamonds now that are so much cheaper and they look like the real thing. So that's coming next. That's coming next.
That's true. And half of our politicians are 1.8.
Dianne Feinstein was born on the Nuna continent. I listened to something the other day. My mom goes, "Is that Dianne Feinstein talking?" I said, "She doesn't talk anymore."
No, she's too old to talk.
She just votes.
I mean, I got a feeling if you can afford $83 million on a diamond, you're not really worried about paying the $83 million, right?
No.
I mean, it's not like, hey, do you have a layaway plan? Do you have anything like that? That's just kind of a rounding error, probably with your net worth.
Yeah, that's just like this. So everyone kind of wants fuck you money, but like, where do you have to be financially to write a check for $83 million for a ring? Not a house, not an island, not a plane, a piece of jewelry. I mean, what are we doing wrong, the four of us? I mean, listen, Alan, I've not seen your books. I'm sure you're doing fine. But $83 million seems egregious, does it not?
It seems like a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to. I wouldn't even know how to spend that.
No. Plus, half of marriages end in divorce. So chances are you're just losing it. You're just giving away $83 million.
I mean, it just reminds me of that episode on the Titanic, where she got that blue diamond. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, then she drops it at the bottom of the sea. I'm like,
drops in the ocean, gone forever.
I mean, what happens if you go in the ocean and that thing slips on your, off your? I mean, go to the rubberized ring. I mean, come on.
This is stainless steel because I lost the first one. It's $100. I'm going to lose this one.
Yeah. I don't get it either. It doesn't make sense to me. And the other thing I don't get is that one thing I did learn about the movie Titanic is that we know she was not a capitalist. So that cleared it up.
Correct.
My first ring, I was in the ocean playing football, and I went up to throw and I looked, I was like, oh fuck. So they slip right off your finger. And if they're $100, it's like, all right. If it's 80, you imagine losing an $83 million ring in the water.
I mean, I think the entire water would turn brown because you'd be, you would have. You'd be a little worried there at that point.
I'd run around asking everybody, "Can you help me?" This is what it looks like. So $83 million. I bet they would find it in 10 minutes.
It's gigantic. It's pink. You'll know it when you see it. Trust me. Here's the other thing too, is that like diamond rings are such bullshit because De Beers, I don't know if you know this, but De Beers created a marketing campaign in 1947, and that's the reason we do diamond rings. There's no intrinsic value to diamonds. It doesn't go back thousands of years. Your great grandmother, chances are, didn't get a diamond ring. One genius marketing company came up with buy your woman a diamond, and now we all do it. And now someone just bought a chick an $83 million ring. So the power of marketing is incredible. Okay, we got one more story, 5 more minutes. Let's see if we can get through it. What do we got?
This story is interesting.
Jesus, Robin.
So we covered this, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where Italy was in the top 5 countries that had like the lowest fertility rates in the world. So that's like a fourth of their population being above senior citizens. So they're on high alert because they're worried that their whole civilization is going to collapse. But at the same time, there's a possible solution, which would be entertaining immigrants. But it's also Italy's top priority to create a giant naval blockade from getting to prevent them to get into Europe.
Robin, before we get into the story, I want to compliment you because the way you weave these stories from day to day together is pretty funny. You're getting very good at this. So you're doing good. Okay, so here's the thing. Italy has a migrant issue. This year, 126,000 migrants have entered the country. That's nearly double last year. This is their leader. This is Giorgia Meloni, and she's a fascist. And before we go, listen, America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan, you're a Northeast libtard. No, she's actually a fascist. Let me tell you why.
Oh, she is.
Yeah. In 1992, she joined the Youth Front, the youth wing of the Italian Socialist Movement, a neo-fascist political party founded in 1946 by former followers of Italian fascism. I'll tell you this, no one does fascism like the Italians. She later became the national leader of the Student Action, the student movement of the NAN, a post-fascist party that became the MSI, whatever. She's a fascist, right? We all get it? Now.
Seems like she's a fascist.
Research.
There's a lot of fascism going on. It used to be very cool, then it wasn't very cool. Now it's cool again. It's like 90s fashion. But there's clearly an issue. Fascism aside, this is a humanitarian crisis. And listen, it's one thing for me to judge, but I live in Massachusetts. 126,000 migrants aren't coming into Massachusetts. So
I have a question though. How are these? I thought the migrants were in New York City.
No, evidently they're flowing into Italy too.
So they're going to Italy now. I got to be honest. If I had a choice between New York City or Italy,
well, that's the thing.
Let me in, baby. I'm headed to Italy.
Here's the problem, though. I know it's weird. Not all migrants come from the same place. Ours tend to come from South America. Theirs tend to come from Northern Africa. So I think it's really a distance thing. Now, Germany has said that they'll take a bunch of these migrants, but man, what do? You just let 126,000 people in? Don't they have to work and eat and live somewhere? Does anybody have any solution to the migrant crisis?
We got to wake Joe Biden up and ask him, what's going on, Joe? Figure it out.
Hey, but
let's get this sorted.
Aren't they going to an island? Did I see that they're going to the island or they're actually going to Italy where they're drinking wine?
I think it's the Amalfi Coast they were headed.
Yeah, I think they're all going to the Amalfi Coast for some nice red wine. So I think that Northern Africa to the boot is how they go. I believe. Okay. But Giorgia Meloni, her solution is a naval blockade. So she wants not only the Italian Navy, but I think she's pulling in the German Navy as well. And they just want to do a whole bunch of boats. That seems like a high wall solution. I think there's probably things you can do with diplomacy. Or I don't know. Well, what are you going to do? Shoot down the boats? Like that seems cruel.
It sounds to me like they already have a boat, so it's just a bunch of boats. Right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of boats, but what is the blockade going to do? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's like, well, you guys have a boat, we have a boat too. How about it? You want to race? What's up?
I would imagine the smaller boat is faster and can go around the big boat.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
That's how fires can.
Maybe not thinking. Maybe thinking is not a strong point of the fascists.
The fascists aren't huge on long-term planning. I think they tend to lose in the long run, or historically speaking, they
hate common sense.
Well, Hasn't worked out for themselves.
Arguable.
This story, real quick before we get to Alan, though, like it makes you think. I do listen. Nobody puts perspective into their life, and it really matters at any point. But I look at this, and I go, I'm mad that we're not famous yet. But at least I'm not on a fucking boat going to Italy because I'm leaving some war-torn country, right? I mean, things could be worse.
There's a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a nice happy ending to the news. Alan,
good job, Robin. Good job,
Robin. You killed it.
Thank you.
Very good job today, Alan. Okay, buddy, we got to talk. Hold on, I'm gonna get to my Alan notes. Here they are.
Oh boy, there's
All
more
right.
than one page there. That's a little concerning.
It's a novella, as a matter of fact. It's a multi-part
pad.
series. It's a whole pad. All right, so let's do your story right off the bat. You want to tell us like where you were, where you are, how you got there? Tell us the story of Airstream Ventures, if you would.
Yeah, so the quick story is played sports all growing up. Got out of college, was lucky enough to play baseball in college. Got out, started working in sports, and done it for 30 years. So when we started Airstream Venture about 5.5 years ago as a sports marketing and event management company, not knowing that a little pandemic would shut down every event and any kind of marketing thing, but we survived it. And now 3 years, after that, we're doing well. We're in 9 different cities and have really expanded, have a good team. And so, sports and music, we have a music festival next month in West Virginia that we're involved with. And so, sports and music and get paid for it. It's not a bad gig.
No, you really figured out how to like have fun with what you're doing. So what kind of what you do though? I have many questions. Kind of what you do is sort of professional party planning, right? To some degree.
It is. I mean, in a bigger scale. So basically, a couple of things. One, we go into communities and smaller communities, probably of populations of 100,000 or less, and we become their sports commission. So their convention and visitors bureau, their tourism bureau is looking to bring more and more events. A lot of business tourism through the weeks have dried up because of things like this, Zooms and all that you can jump on instead of sending 4 people on a plane, to solve an issue, you can jump on Zoom. And so more and more communities, especially small communities, are looking for that tourism on the weekends. And we all know youth sports and sporting events drive tourism. And so, they hire us to help bring in those types of events, and it's gone really well. We we're in 9 communities. We're growing, talking to a lot more. So I mean it's a big party and events. People have a lot of fun. There's a lot of money in it.
Yeah, and you have good ideas too, because what I like to do now with guests, I like to see if they've done any YouTube interviews. You did an interview, I think, with a local sports station or news station, whatever it was, and you were doing a triple header with a high school football thing over the week. It was like a Saturday with 3 games, and I was like, then you talked about how hot it was. It was like in the Florida heat. It was going to be the 90s, but then you had the wherewithal to do a VIP pass where I got like an air conditioned tent. That sounds amazing.
Take our money.
Yeah, we did. We created that a few years ago and had a TV partner, local independent station here that has high ratings. And we said, let's create this football showcase, put it on TV. You can stream it all over the country. So grandma, grandpa that are living in Delaware or Massachusetts or wherever can watch the game because they never get to see little Johnny play. So we did that. But then we said, all right, people are willing to pay more for. I mean, it was 130 degrees on the turf. Woo! So we created this big VIP experience, pumped in a bunch of cool air, sold it out, and did well on that event. So we try to get creative. You got to get creative here in Florida. If you're going to do events in the freaking summer, you got to get creative.
Yeah. I don't really like going to live sports because of the inconveniences. Like it takes a long time to get there. Parking's a pain in the ass. Once I get to the seat, I'm going to drink too much, which means I'm going to have to go to the bathroom 8,000 times. I'm going to have to ask people to move. They're going to get annoyed at me. It happens constantly. Then my wife got a job with the Red Sox and I was up in the Red Sox suite where like it's air conditioned. They bring me free food. The bathroom's right over there. And I go, this is sporting events are awesome. Yeah, I just live like this, and you've sort of solved that problem, which is very nice.
It's you got to get creative. I got 4 daughters, and my daughters are like, Dad, we're only sitting in the club seats. Why are we not in a suite? We're at a concert. You know, why are we not on the 5th row? So I've spoiled them over the years, and it's nice, you know, when you got a credential and you can go experience the fun stuff. It is good, but I think, you know, more and more now, especially with the heat, you know, franchises or events are trying to figure out some solutions for fans.
Well, they need to hire you because whatever you're doing sounds right.
We're trying.
You sound like the first guy in Florida that was like, "How about air conditioning?" And that, which is weird because you'd think somebody before that would have come.
It's just because it's not inexpensive. I mean,
it's like cool air.
You know, yeah. I mean, it's but I'll tell you, the Jaguars here are figuring out, because it was 130 degrees against the Chiefs last weekend here, and they had over 100 people go to the hospital for heat exhaustion, and so they're trying to figure that out as well. And we play the Texans Sunday.
Did you tell them it was air conditioning?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Shade,
let them know.
Shade or air condition.
Yeah.
Those sound delightful. So you have 4 daughters. They're geniuses, by the way, because they like to they 5th row in air conditioning. But you started an events company, and then the pandemic hit. So you started your own shit, and then the worst thing that could have happened.
He started his own event company, and then an event happened.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have air conditioned COVID. That must have freaked you out, though, right?
Oh man, I tell you what, it was a struggle. But I you know, that same TV station I was telling you with, we had a great partnership. I got to give a shout out because I always give him a lot of credit for helping save our company. A guy named Bob Ellis, who's now the GM at the NBC station up in Detroit. But he basically said, we got to do something for the class of 2020. You know, they're missing out on their graduations. That's a real thing. So why don't we create a virtual graduation? We can use our airwaves to do that. We can really give these kids some highlights. And so why don't you work with us? We split the profits. And so we did really well. It cash flowed us for several months. You get the PPP money that kind of helped us. And so cobbled with those 2 things, we were really able to weather the storm. So I got to give him props because he came up with the idea. We implemented it for him. TV station, you know, can't implement it I think we did 61 virtual graduations on their television station over like a 3 week. So we did that. That's not really what Airstream Ventures does, but we came up with that. We cash flowed us, and here we are now, you know, in 2023.
And now you're growing. So I looked at your events, and here's the thing I like about you too. You don't do boring shit. Well, you might do some boring shit. We all have to do boring shit. Look at this, cornhole championships you have.
I have an idea. A pickleball tournament.
Oh my God.
Oh
yeah.
Hey,
brainstorming here.
Rodney. So one of the cities we work in is North Platte, Nebraska. You ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
It's right, literally smack dab in the middle of Denver and Omaha. Okay. Like literally smack dab in the middle of that. And everywhere we go, we hear about pickleball. Well, they are actually building a really nice world-class pickleball that's going to have, I think, 16 to 20 pickleball courts. We work with USA Pickleball. So we're talking about bringing some big events there. So pickleball, man, it's everywhere.
It is.
Everywhere.
That's all I think about and do. Luckily, Eric pays me enough that I can break away for an hour to do the show every day. But beyond that, it's really just pickleball.
Well, I'll tell you, the number one, the national champion of cornhole last year. You know how much they made?
More than me. That I'm sure of.
$3.2 million.
Yeah.
Stop it. With a cornhole?
Cornhole.
Yeah. Eric,
they were on the road like 42
Thousands.
weeks a year. These people are like the PGA golfers, you know. They're independent contractors, but I'm telling you, they I mean, it's crazy. All of these events, you know, they're a lot of fun, and it's a lot of people's passion. I'll tell you, the biggest thing about COVID is what happened, like the cornholes. All these things blew up because they were these people's hobbies.
Yeah.
Right.
And now they had so much downtime. They said, you know, we could make money on this.
Yeah.
And so now they turn it into a business. And now it's become these phenomenons that people kind of passionate people about their hobbies are now making businesses out of it. But they need to take their events places because they don't know that side of it. So a lot of those folks are reaching out to us, and we're creating tours for them.
That's very smart.
Very smart.
So the American Cornhole League gives you a call. Is that how this works? Did you solicit the American Cornhole League? Like, how did you get them? What was the?
So American Cornhole League's a little different. You've probably seen them on ESPN. They have,
Yeah.
you know, the Johnsonville sausage and all that kind of
Somehow
stuff.
I have seen.
I love Johnsonville sausage, by the way. Go on. I love it.
Yeah, they ought to be a sponsor of this podcast.
They should.
You know?
Them and,
We'll give
them and Hot Pockets.
Well,
trying.
sometimes
On
you
the
got to
hot
do
one.
free shout outs to get them on. So, yeah, Johnsonville, you need to step up to the show. But
We love Johnsonville.
what ACL, what they do is they have different state directors. And so they have different state and regional championships that funnel up to what you see on ESPN. And so we're working with like the state directors in each one of the states that we represent. And then that funnels up into, then we'll work with regional people. And then, you know, then it funnels up to the national championship that we all watch on ESPN. So we work with a lot of those folks, you know, in the different states that we're in. And they've been great partners. They do an amazing job.
And what do you do exactly for them? Is it like, I know we talked about the party throwing aspect, but what are you in charge of to make sure?
Well, we bring their event. They run their event. So many of the events that we do, they run it. I mean, my staff's not running it. We're helping market it. We're helping, you know, pull all the triggers if it comes to a permitting issue in that city or whatever, because we're their sports commission, right? So we're charged with bringing these events. But like a cornhole thing. So get this, we hosted the state championship in Florida, down in Sebring, Florida. Small community known for racing, IndyCar racing and all that racing. You don't have to live in Florida to be the state champion of Florida. You can live in Mass and be the state champion of Florida. And so we had 833 participants from 30 different states come in to participate in the Florida State Championship. We've had that in all of our different states. And so it creates heads and beds, it creates Airbnbs, it creates a big tourism number. People are in restaurants. Creates a big economic impact for those smaller communities that if you didn't have that event that weekend, hotels are at 30% capacity. Well, now they're at 85, 90% capacity.
Interesting. All right. That makes sense.
So what I'm hearing is that we need a pickleball tournament. I see what you're saying. I like it.
Yeah, we'll talk offline, Rodney.
Yeah,
I
that
like
sounds
that.
right.
What about a pickleball tournament / hot pocket eating competition? Do you think that this would something that the American public would come out to see?
Well, what about chicken and pickle? Have you heard of chicken and pickle?
I have.
Okay.
No, I've not.
The problem here's the problem is I live in New York where people will have a house that has one bedroom and one bath and they think it's worth $40-50 million. So it's very difficult to get land here. And then so that's our challenge here is that everybody hoards things like it's, you know.
That's why you have to get to Nebraska where there's 20 pickleball courts in this amazing facility.
Yeah, you come over. It's an easy flight.
Here's what
we got to move, Eric.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm in. Just real quick on the athlete thing, like all these sports that aren't really sports yet. So when I went to one Patriots game, and this was years ago, but I saw Vince Wilfork standing next to Nate Solder. Nate Solder's like 6'9". Vince Wilfork is 6'9". horizontally. Like they're gigantic people. And then when I used to bartend, Dwight Evans, who used to play left field for the Red Sox, not particularly known for being big, but he was giant. His head was huge, his hands. Professional athletes are big people. But right now, cornhole, Rodney, you got to get in because like the greatest cornhole guy is Steve, like from down the road. The greatest pickleball player is so eventually.
The greatest pickleball player is a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah, see, so eventually real athletes, I don't want to take anything away from 17-year-old girls, but once the LeBron Jameses of this world get involved in pickleball, none of us have any chances. So we got to get in now.
Get it now.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, well, you know, people will get really good at pickleball and this and that. And I'm like, I think you all have forgotten. All the tennis players that didn't make it, couldn't hack it, don't know what in the world they're doing are going to come over because Carlos Alcaraz picked up a pickleball paddle and he was like looking at it. And the next thing they hit it to him and he just goes, dropped it right in the kitchen. I said, pray God he sticks with the tennis. Get on back to the tennis court, fella. Because most tennis players that are exceptional are incredible at pickleball.
Oh, I'm
They're
sure.
just incredible. Yeah.
If Tom Brady ever picks up a cornhole bag, it's lights out for everybody else.
It is. Tom actually owns a pickleball team, though, if you were wondering.
I'm sorry. Tom Brady owns a pickleball team?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, he owns like a franchise, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He owns a franchise.
Yeah. So he owns part of the Raiders in a pickleball league? Oh.
And some sort of racing thing. Apparently he's bought Delta Airlines now and owns Hertz. Guy can't be stopped. Pretty soon he's going to buy the Patriots.
Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas played in an event, you know, and they crushed it too. So, I mean, you're right. These professional athletes are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
you know who's not good at pickleball is John McEnroe and Andy Roddick, which really warms my heart.
Oh, that's interesting.
That warms my heart. Yeah.
You would think, but look at the things you're doing: table tennis, strongmen, Spartan races, blues festival, volleyball, motocross, like it's skateboarding. You're doing some really interesting shit, and I think this is what we need to leave the house because nobody leaves the house.
No.
Well, that's the thing. Like when
Kevin Durant,
during COVID, record numbers of skateboards were purchased. Record numbers. So you saw like all these events, record numbers of whatever were purchased because people were bored to death. And so they went out and did that. And after 2 years of not being able to work, they freaking got really good at this stuff. And like Moto Surf Games, we work with them. They're based out of Czechoslovakia. They figured out how to take a jet propulsion, kind of like a jet ski, put it on the back of a surfboard, and now they race it all over the world. And these people are unbelievable and making good money.
That's genius.
Because of these national tours.
That's genius. I like that. That's smart. Yeah,
it's crazy. So I was in college athletics for 20 years, and stuck to our traditional sports like we all grew up playing and all that kind of stuff. And now, man, there's very little traditional sports anymore.
You're right. Like, the high school I went to was football, basketball, baseball, and then, you come to Long Island and they never heard of those sports. They only play lacrosse. So I get it. No, it makes perfect sense. Everyone here plays lacrosse. You like football? Lacrosse. Everything's lacrosse. And I'm like, what's the professional cross league? Oh, that's right. There isn't one.
Yeah. Well, there is now. There is, Rodney. There's the PLL in the summer.
Oh.
But
it's coming.
Yeah, I mean,
they probably hired the LinkedIn marketing team.
Yeah.
Not very good. So we were talking in the green room about the injuries in the NFL, and honestly, if the world champion cornholer can make $3 million, and I have a kid, like fuck getting concussions, right? Go play cornhole.
That's the thing. The only thing you're going to get is tennis elbow, maybe from throwing a beanbag too much. That's about the biggest injury. Or if you're drinking, right. I mean, these suckers now they drink a lot of beer. They drink a ton of beer while they're playing. But man, they are I mean, it's low impact on your body. I mean, literally, truly.
I saw one of the matches in the
worst.
Yeah, I saw one of the matches. I was watching one day on one of the channels, and it was dart throwing.
Oh yeah, dart throwing.
And then it was pickleball, and I said, "Man, oh man, who is that 400-pound guy?" He was the athlete. So, there's hope for us all.
Listen, go ahead.
I was just laughing.
Okay, I have a question though. So here's my concern. If you play a real sport, there's a lot of very attractive groupies. If I'm in a cornhole champion, what's the groupie situation like in any of these particular sports? If I'm going after the fans,
I'll just say it's not. If you're like the world class, beanbag thrower, ACL, it's definitely not like walking out of the locker room after an NFL game or major league baseball. Yeah.
All right. So it's a step down from that. The NBA.
It's a little different. It's a little different. Yep.
That's concerning to me. That might be worth a few concussions, I think. So I don't know.
You may be cashing in the money, but yeah, that side of the ledger, it's a little different.
Not a lot of hot chicks in the front row at the cornhole championships. That's too bad.
Yeah.
So it's not like the PGA. So it's not like the PGA championships, right? It's not like.
Yeah, not when they're walking around. No. It's a little different, and there's not a lot of a lot of the women throw too. So it's really become like a family groupie everything affair. So everybody's there doing it.
I have a question. I just have a quick question to get your opinion on it, because I was thinking about it the other day. You remember how like when the Saudi Arabian, whatever it was, the Vibe League or whatever, LIV, whatever it is, the golf thing, everybody was all up in arms and they were destroying golf and everything was terrible and this and that. And they offered, I think it was Tiger Woods, like $200 billion, or they gave him Saudi Arabia or something ridiculous, right? And he was like, no, I'm not interested. And you hear all these guys, and then all of a sudden you hear overnight, it's like they've merged. I said, what in the world's going on? So my question is that all the guys that didn't go over and didn't get the $300, $400, $500 million, don't they feel like idiots now? Well, they're with them anyway.
The PGA Tours actually do. I live in Jacksonville, Florida here, and we're home of the PGA Tour. It's in Ponte Vedra, so I got a lot of buddies that work for the tour. But they're actually working on a deal to help offset some of those people that got offered a lot of big dollars from LIV that turned it all down to stay loyal to the tour. They're going back and saying, hey, we're gonna pay you a lump sum, or over time based upon your status with the tour, based upon your longevity, all of that. We're going to reward you back for staying loyal.
Yeah, because I remember Rory McIlroy, right? And obviously we've learned he's a moron when it comes to negotiation. But and he's like, Tiger didn't do it. Tiger owns Nike. Okay, I mean seriously, Tiger can do anything he wants. If Tiger never plays again, we're fine. But what I thought was interesting is that he turned down like hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, I can't believe Phil Mickelson did that. I said Phil Mickelson is an avid gambler. He needs the money.
Yeah,
well, can't be bothered with such foolishness.
You know, I mean, I love tradition. I think tradition in golf is cool, but guys taking guaranteed money. All the other sports take guaranteed money.
Yep.
You know, take the guaranteed money. You know what the risks are. You know what, all those kinds of things. But, I'm not going to fault anybody for doing that. Now, I'm not going to watch Live as much as I watch PGA Tour.
Right.
But, why am I going to get upset if somebody's going to take $100 million guarantee like Brooks Koepka or something?
Yeah. I would have taken it too.
Butt off to make $100 million.
I sent pictures of me with clubs in, and I said, if anyone's interested, I'm a terrible golfer, but if you're looking to give out money, I'll take $1 million, and I will wear whatever you want.
I'll be a deal for you.
Yeah, I'll do whatever. I'll hold someone's bag for a meal.
Yeah, I'm anti-human right violations, but me not taking their $100 million isn't going to solve any problems. So just give it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So, Ellen, you've made you have a number on there, 50 million for economic impact for cities. That's an awful lot of money for your little gig there.
I mean, across all our cities, when you bring in all these events and hotels and restaurants, and it just impacts a community, and that's what we focus on. I've done that a lot most of my career, and we really, all these events that we do, whether it's a music festival or a sports event. You're tying it to the local economy. You're tying it to the tourism piece of that. And so, people go, okay, well, that's great. Well, these restaurant, owners are just going to make more money. How does that really impact the economy? Yeah, but that waitress or that waiter that's at the bar or that's waiting tables, if she lives in a small community and it's dead on a Saturday, she's not making any money. But if you infuse it with events, now she or he can help pay their bills, which means they're going to the cleaners, they're going to buy shoes, so there's a trickle effect and a multiplier effect to that stimulates economy. So, I think
I agree.
We've been fortunate to do that, and we'll hopefully continue to do that.
Nice. So you have some insider information, right? So you've seen all these events and these different leagues. Let's say this show takes off. We have Howard Stern money. We want to start our own thing. Do you think pickleball is going to have the kind of economic impact that like cornhole would? Like, where would you go if you had $1 billion? What kind of league is starting to tour across, get these waitresses some money, bring the city some some money? What is it?
Should we just buy the NCAA at that point?
Well, I'll tell you that's a whole nother. I worked with the NCAA for 20 years, so I have my whole opinions of that. But
right, so we're out on the NCAA. But strongman, table tennis, volleyball, blues. What are we doing?
I will say, I think I would double down on music festivals. I think music festivals are big. People love, pickleball is great, but it doesn't really tug at your heart. Music tugs at your heart, man.
Well, it tugs at Rodney's heart, but nobody else's.
Yeah, listen, I didn't say pickleball was the end all. I think there would be nothing like playing a little pickleball. Listen to Dave Matthews.
Hey, that'd be
or Billy Joel.
But I would double down on music
festivals.
I think music's always going to be around. People will pay to go see live music. It rips at your soul, and so that's what I would double down on, man.
You know what I like about music festivals? The ladies, the drinking, the drugs, everything I enjoy is at a music festival. Okay. So you have there's a typical line of questions that I ask people, and sometimes they don't give a shit. But one of the questions I asked is if because you have music in your LinkedIn bio, music is one of those things. You just said you double down on music, you're a music guy. So let me ask you this question that I've asked a lot of people. If you were on a desert island and you got to bring the complete catalogs of 5 different music bands / artists, who are they? Keep in mind, this is all you have to listen to for the rest of eternity. 5 bands.
Oh, man. Okay. I'll say, across all genres, I'll say Beethoven.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay. Because I'm across a lot of different genres of music.
I can tell. Yeah. If you're
I'm going to say Beethoven. I'm going to say Rascal Flatts.
It's typical pairing, Beethoven and Rascal Flatts. Yep.
I'm going to say LL Cool J.
For Rascal Flatts. I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm going to say LL Cool J.
Ladies love Cool James. Write that down.
You
I
know?
love LL Cool J. I love LL Cool J. Good choice.
I'm
And
gonna
there's no best name
say, you know, I'm a guy of faith, so I got to have a little praise in there. So I'm gonna put Casting Crowns because I listen to that genre, and then
Hold on. Can we pause on Casting Crowns real quick?
yeah,
The very first time I ever did this show, or not this show, but another show where I asked this question, the guy said Casting Crowns. It was Fred Campos for you two. He was on the show. And I was
Okay.
like, who the fuck is Casting Crowns? So I did a deep dive. So I'm familiar, and I can't believe somebody else has said Casting.
how about that? You know, Casting Crowns is good.
Shout
And
out
then,
to Fred Campos.
Fred Campos.
You know, so now we've kind of I would probably, you know, I love jazz. I don't know a whole lot about jazz, but I'll tell you who I would do. I would do Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Another solid.
That is the most eclectic island. So Beethoven, Rascal Flatts, LL Cool J, Casting Crowns, and Frank Sinatra. My God, Alan, you
Very
were.
good.
I listen to a lot of different things, man.
I can tell. Is there?
I like
and then the other question to this question is there one band that you hate?
I'm not big on this nasty rap nowadays. I'm not crazy
Mumble
about
rap.
talking about shooting and killing and all that kind of stuff. So I don't even listen to it. So I couldn't even tell you names. But yeah, I'm not big on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Beethoven's
I don't blame
lyrics
you.
weren't very aggressive, so I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Although I will tell you Eric, we should share with him an interesting fact. Yesterday we had on, or the other day we had on a gentleman, and he said that most heavy metal, believe it or not, is a play on classical
Yeah,
music.
Yeah.
musically. Yeah,
I
he's
didn't know that.
a music
Yeah.
theorist, and he says you can draw parallels between.
This guy was a genius. So
That's
yeah, I mean, he knew things
Worked
we
at
didn't even know
NASA.
what he was talking about. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah,
Do you go to music festivals? Is it a thing that you do?
I do. We put them on, and I was just at Bourbon and Beyond, in Louisville last weekend.
Well,
He goes to his own.
It's kind of I was serving that up. That's kind of a dumb question, but I'm sorry. Did you say Bourbon and Beyond?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Bourbon
You've
and Beyond
excited
last
Eric.
weekend in Louisville. Saw the Killers, Duran Duran,
Great bands.
Black Keys, Black Crows. Man, it was awesome.
And you didn't invite me? I love the Black Keys. I love the Black Crows. I love the Killers. I wish. Listen, I know you're a Jesus guy. I wish they weren't. They're sort of Christian rock, but they're Mormon rock, which is weird. But anyway, they're fucking good. Man, that's crazy. How come I didn't know about this?
They
Come
threw
on,
me
man.
with the name though, the Killers. I didn't
name.
see the religion. You know, it was like these guys
For a
can't be
Mormon
religious.
rock band, that's a pretty good
How are
name.
Yeah, well
I've
Bruno
never known that
Mars.
they're Mormon.
It's Mormon rock. I know.
Yeah,
But they told us.
Brandon, their lead singer, grew up Mormon.
Brandon Flowers is very
Yep.
Mormon. Yeah.
But Sunday night, I had to come home. But Bruno Mars was the headliner, so I mean, it was all over the place. And I mean, there's just great music festivals all over the country. People do a great job. And again, to your point, Eric, I mean, you can, you know, at a pickleball event, and we'll just use that, but you can't get a lot of different things. At a music festival, you see about anything, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You see anything. So
and you can smush things together too, because you couldn't do bourbon and pickleball because they'd be all fucked up. It would be terrible.
That's right.
You can definitely drink a lot of bourbon
right.
and listen to the Black Keys, which I got to tell you, if I could customize Heaven, it's almost there. It's another few elements.
Black Keys were awesome, man. They put on a show. I mean, it was Avett Brothers were there. We saw. I mean, it was
They're amazing. They're amazing.
Crazy. It was crazy. So it was a lot of fun.
And there was bourbon in the homeland where it belongs. And where you said it was Louisville?
Bro, it was
Louisville,
there was bourbon flowing. I mean, it was hard. You couldn't even find vodka at the festival. I mean, it was pretty much bourbon. There you go.
Hey.
Right there.
Eric hates bourbon.
Yeah. No, I mean, man, it was good. So, music festivals, I think, are where it's at to reach so many. You know, you can kind of reach almost everybody in this world loves music.
Everyone loves
Some don't like sport, some don't like art, but everybody likes
Everyone
music.
likes
Man.
music.
So double down on that.
All right, I like that. All right, we only have about a minute left. Do you want to plug Airstream Ventures for anyone who may be listening in the,
Yeah, man. We're a company that likes to plan fun stuff, and we really believe if you're watching this and you're in a community, hey, you know, we'd love to come into community. If you're not seeing many events in your community, you know, look us up and we can definitely help you. But hey, guys, I know we got about a minute, but man, keep up the great work. We need more podcasts and more just real stuff that people are having fun, telling the truth. but just sharing good stuff out there. So kudos to y'all. I'm going to start plugging you. And
Thank
hey, we may have to send an email to Johnsonville because we
need
gave
to.
them a couple plugs.
Alan, if we were sponsored by a sausage company, I'd be a happy man. Like nothing.
Hey, well, it is an all-male show, so I mean that would
That's
make
the
sense,
bar.
right?
Sausage
Makes
company's the bar.
Sausage. Oh my God! Please, Johnsonville, if you're out there, anything will do.
Just tag them, Robin. Tag them when you post it.
Tag them, yes,
well.
please, heavily. All the get very heavy tagging today.
But y'all
All
keep up the great work. It's fun being with you today.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Alan. Stick around
Thanks for
for
coming.
5
Likewise.
minutes in the green room, if
Yeah.
you will. I'm going to sign off formally. So goodbye, America. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. See you later.